Welcome to Couch Time with Sonja, the grace season. This episode is about code switching. The term, by definition, relates to the ability of one to alternate your personality based on social setting and overall levels of comfort. Code switching is often used as a means of blending in with the crowd. The language is different, whether verbal or even body language, and this episode will begin to explain how that happens and the benefits as well as faults. Do you code switch? Let's take it to the couch. Welcome back to Couch Time with Sonja. Today we are talking about code switching. What is that, right? We're going to define what that is. We're going to talk more about it. But I first want to introduce you to my guest today. I have sitting with me on the couch today, Miss Felicia Williams. Let's get it right.
There you go.
Miss Felicia Williams, thank you so much for coming and sitting on the couch with us today.
Hi, Sonja. Thank you for having me. It's
You're
a
very
pleasure
welcome.
to be here.
Very welcome. And then we have Mr. Jason Thibodeau.
Well, hey, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. Hey, I'm excited for both of y'all to be here and really for us to just have an open, honest conversation about this subject, code switching. So what is code switching? I'm going to read the definition for you so that you'll know exactly what it means. The term code switching, by definition, relates to the ability of one to alternate between one, two, or more languages, but can also be defined as what I kind of call you switch up with the setting, depending on who you are around. Would y'all say that we do it every day?
Absolutely.
All the time.
And man, we do it sometimes unknowingly, and then sometimes we do it purposely,
Of
Very
course.
true.
depending on who we're around. So do you believe ultimately that it's based on the level of comfort that one feels in how they will switch who they are? Do you believe it's the level of comfort?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Come on, elaborate on
You
that
know,
for me.
for instance, when you're around your work friends, there's a certain level of comfort that you have. There's certain things you'll say and do. And then when you're around your friends, those that you grew up with or that you know from other settings, you're a whole different person sometimes. You just can't be the same person all the time, in my own opinion.
I agree with you on that. How about with family?
With family, yeah, actually you will, it's interesting, you will find yourself doing that with family as well. You'll have certain cousins, uncles, aunts, whatever the case may be that you are 100% yourself with, and you have some other ones you have to be on the straight and narrow.
Come on, that's good. That's a good way to say that.
And I'm not talking about because they're in, a police officer or anything like that, but it's just, that's just kind of their energy. Let's put it that way, yeah.
And it's so funny because we do it so comfortably.
Yes.
You know, like it's like we're born with to be able to swap and switch.
It's like a second nature.
Come on.
Yeah,
I agree with
absolutely.
that. I
You
agree with
just
that.
Shows up.
Especially in our culture.
Yes, I agree
my
with you on
gosh.
that one too. We're gonna hit on that one too. Code switching is often used as a means of blending in with the crowd, right? So why do we really do it? Why do you think we really switch up depending on who we are around?
Well, unfortunately, it's kind of become more of a social norm.
Come on, Jason.
I will definitely say in our culture, as I was saying before, it has become one of those things to where you're taught that when you're young, when you're, depending on what neighborhood you grew up in, who you grew up around. I myself, growing up initially, I was in a very diverse neighborhood. I would have Asian, Indian, white, black, whatever else. And of course, as I've gotten older, the neighborhood started to change. And I also noticed how people reacted towards me as well. So, and then of course you have your mom or dad or that works in whatever personal setting, whether it's blue collar, white collar, whatever else. And depending on that setting, they will say, well, when you get around this group, act like this. When you
Yes.
get around this group, watch yourself, act like this. When you're at home and you're on your street, do what you do.
That's
Just
so
don't get in
good.
trouble.
That's so good, and that's true.
So-
It's really learned from home sometimes. That's where it
Absolutely.
begins. is at home.
Now, Jason was, he was being all PC, but my mom was like, don't you act a fool when we're
Pretty much,
That's
yeah,
good like that. I see, that's what I'm used to.
Don't you go, they're showing you're behind.
That's what I'm used to.
Oh no, I was being good, but yeah, both my parents are from the country, and I mean, they had the philosophy. I told you once, you heard me. The second time, you really heard me. If I have to tell you a third time, there's going to be some type of action.
I love the way
And they don't care where they at when this action takes place. You can be at the store, you can be at the mall, you can be at the house, in the street, wherever.
Isn't that funny that the word acting a fool was truly always said.
Always. Don't you act a fool. Yes, indeed.
But it's funny that the situations and the scenarios change. But even think about it. When we are on the telephone, even as grown adults with our children, I've been guilty, guys. I am fussing. I'm going off fussing. And then the moment that phone rings, hello. This is
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You talking about being on the phone fussing? I'll be fussing in person. Hey, what did I tell you about this and the other? Hold on for a second. Yes. How can I help you? Yeah, great. All right. Yeah. What I say a minute ago?
We do that.
We do.
Oh
That
my
is
goodness.
so true.
I mean, and there's even a different scenario. Let's talk about those who we were talking, during the break about holier than thou. They preach holy, and they speak the word of God, and it's God this, but behind closed doors they will cuss you up, down like a sailor.
Church parking lot.
Come on.
I'm actually going to church. Hold on, I'm going to church and saw somebody in a different pew, in a different section, and they're, yes, Lord, right? Go outside and straight curse that kid out.
But y'all,
I don't even want to say curse. I'll say cuss the kid out.
Sad.
It was bad.
So very sad.
In the parking lot.
That's a major code switching.
Yeah.
Because really, what I always like to say is, you change, but really you're still you.
Yes, exactly.
The real you is coming out, period.
I agree.
So it's just like, oh my goodness. I mean, I love the Lord, but I'm sorry, but you're not going to catch me cussing you up one end and down the other, using language that, makes you go, did that just come out your mouth?
Exactly. You'll go, hey, Sister Sonja, how you doing today? Girl, I'm blessed and highly
Come
favored.
on.
And then
Felicia.
that be
Come on,
Felicia.
As you're walking away from them, yeah.
Yes, and I see it so
sad.
much. It's just amazing. It's amazing to say, yes, I understand we code switch in a professional atmosphere, but sometimes we can code switch in a negative condensation, a negative tone as well.
I agree, absolutely.
So that after seeing that so much growing up in different environments and settings, that's when I started, and she'll know, I'll say that, she's heard me say it before, is like, I don't really have a representative. So many people have a representative. I try to stay consistent. It's like either my energy is going to turn you on or it's going to turn you off. I'm going to be respectful to you as long as you're respectful to me.
That's good.
So
we really get you every time we meet you. We get
probably 99.9% of the time. I mean, I will, and that's not to say that you'll see me cutting up here and I won't be professional. I can cut up and still be professional.
Yes.
But there's a time and a place for everything, and I kind of walk that line every now and again. But
I agree with that.
I kind of call it a pendulum.
Exactly.
Your pendulum does. It's okay to swing, but don't swing so left or so right that you're not even recognizable.
Yeah, I have a range.
We have some more to discuss. This is so good. We'll be right back after this message.
I'm ready for this. Are you ready for couch time with Sonja?
Because I want to ask a question. Does that really mean that I sound intelligent? I'm using proper grammar? Have you experienced that yourself?
I certainly haven't.
Ready for this. Are you ready for couch time with
Hi, I'm Eric, the Men's Health NP and CEO of Priority Male LLC, where men's health is the priority. Here at Venus Restorative Health and Wellness Center, we have a great partnership with Dr. Marcel Thompson, where we take a holistic approach combined with integrative medicine and aesthetics care to provide premier men's health and wellness services here in the city of Houston.
And not only do we see men's health, we also see women's health. And we use integrative medicine approach along with traditional medicine approach to come up and design a very unique treatment plan. We're located at 4914 Bissonnet Street Bel Air, Texas, or visit us at venuscenters.com, where vitality meets longevity.
You can also check us out at PriorityMailLLC.com, where men's health is the priority. Give us a call today at 713-623-1414 to book your appointment. They're going fast. See you soon.
Are you ready for couch time with Sonja?
Welcome back. I'm sitting here on the couch with Felicia and Jason having a great conversation about code switching, how we switch up depending upon who we are around. We're going to talk about, I want to say, I grew up hearing this all the time. You sound white. Have you ever experienced anyone saying that to you? Because I want to ask a question. Does that really mean that I sound intelligent? I'm using proper grammar? Have you experienced that yourself?
I certainly haven't. Even to this day, I mean, from growing up with, even from family, other relatives that you're not around every day, to friends, and even some of my brothers, they'd be like, "What's up, white girl?"
See?
I'm like, "I'm sorry, we do have the same mom, right?" You know. So, and I would ask, does that, just because I speak proper English, does that mean that I'm a white girl? Because I know some non-black people that sound horrible.
Yes. Yes.
And that's who they are.
That's a stereotype.
Absolutely.
Oh my
Definitely
gosh.
is. And similar to her, I mean, I still hear it to this day. Not as much these days as I used to, but growing up, it was bad. And I mean, it'd be like the next door neighbor, the guy across the street or whatever the case may be. You sound white. And I was like, well, my mom works in a criminal court growing up, you know, so she had to hold herself a particular way. And of course, the fact that she would basically, you know, oversee making sure all of the grammar and everything was correct. And, you know, she hung around professional people. She pushed that on me, talking a certain way, you know, trying to use proper grammar. You know, everything is not I be this or I be that, you know.
But to me, it's what they're doing is telling you that, oh, only because you are black, that you only speak a certain way.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That we have to speak, what is it, Ebonics.
Right.
Exactly.
No, we do not. Your mother was teaching you, which I think was absolutely beautiful. She was teaching you the proper English,
Yes.
proper grammar. And I commend her for that.
Yeah,
you know?
same here.
But
Same
what's
here.
sad, Jason, is that people today in this society honestly believe that you can put a label on the way you sound.
Well, then you get it from both ways too, because you'll shock people who are not black because you sound a certain way, or you're talking a certain way, or carry yourself a certain way. You go back home or to your neighborhood around your own folks, and then they're looking at you a certain way too, like, well, you think you're better than us.
Come
It's
on.
like, no.
That's exactly right.
You can still come over here and we can watch the game.
Yes.
We can still grab a drink, whatever the case may be. We might sound a little different. Like even hanging out with one of my close buddies, best friend or whatnot. We actually work together. I met a gentleman from Chicago recently. I didn't know this brother was as hood as he was. But just when I first met him, he sounded kind of Uncle Tomish. And he was married to a white woman currently. You know, his first wife, I think, was black, but his current wife is white. And he was talking about, yeah, she's white and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting here listening to him. But then as he got a little more aggravated with a situation he was going through, you started hearing it come out. And so it's strange because he's still talking proper, but you can hear the hood in it.
Come on. That's because he code switched. He was comfortable with you.
Exactly.
Right. So as he got more comfortable with us, the people that was there that he had just met, and he already knew my buddy, you know, and yeah. So and then as he, of course, was drinking a little bit, you know, he got more comfortable quicker, and it just poured on out. So here it is. It sounds like a guy that would be a different hue, but you could tell he definitely grew up Southside Chicago. I mean, this guy, yeah, it was there.
I want to encourage you. If you are saying this particular statement to anyone that you sound white, I'm going to encourage you to stop it.
Please, thank you.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Because there are people that are intelligent in every single race. There are people who speak proper grammar, proper dialogue in every single race. So it's something that we truly have to stop doing, and that's judging.
Absolutely.
I was just about to say, because you think you're judging them by saying, well, you sound this way, but really what you're doing is you're judging yourself.
Come
You're
on,
saying
come on,
that
Jason.
well, I'll put it this way. I would follow several multimillionaires here in Houston and follow different business things that they're doing. And you can't make me feel bad about myself when you have, when you have posture, right? So when you're telling me that I sound a particular way or I carry myself a particular way, it's almost as if you're really just saying, well, you think you're better than me. That's the way I hear it. And I'm one of these people. It's like I have that posture where I will say when it comes to certain things, I do. Because you're putting me on that pedestal and that I'm not asking to be on. I'm not going to treat you any differently than I have been or that you treat me. But if you keep putting me on this pedestal or if you're downing yourself, then you're doing it to yourself. So when you say it, that's just what I hear. So when you say, man, you sound white or you sound like this, man, you're not from the hood. It's like, no, actually I am. I made it out, especially through the 90s when everybody was trying to gangbang and stuff. I made it out of there. So when you think about it, I got judged by some of these same people, but it's like, stop putting me on the pedestal because that's kind of what I hear when you say that. So I agree with you. Please stop saying that.
Yeah.
Well,
Very
and
much
the
so.
other thing is sometimes people think it's a compliment. And I'm like, that's not a compliment.
Correct, Felicia.
Because, I'm talking to you and I'm talking to my white girlfriends or my white coworkers and they'll be like, you know what? You sound white. Or did you grow up in a white neighborhood? Or is there someone white in your family? Or,
That is so sad.
That's not a compliment.
it's
No, not at
not.
all.
And they think,
Yeah.
it's almost equivalent to, oh, she's pretty for a black girl.
Girl, come on.
Now
that's a good
it's-
statement.
it's
Oh, she's
just-
pretty.
Yeah, for a black girl.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, really? Black, white, green, gold, orange,
That's
or
it.
yellow.
That's it.
You can speak proper English.
right.
Yeah.
And you know what? It doesn't always have to be proper.
That's right.
Because you might get with your homegirls and be like, girl.
Come on, you're right. Because you know how we are.
Exactly. So you switch it up.
That's right.
So code switching for me personally, like I said, it's natural.
Yeah.
It's natural depending on your situation, much like you said at the opening.
Very true. Very true.
I got one for you though. I'll elaborate even deeper. I had a previous job, same industry, still working in insurance and stuff, but I used to go to a lot of different sites. I used to do inspections. So I would call, schedule the inspection. Within the following week or two, I'd go out to the site. Well, I had to go out to this site in Louisiana, out in Lafayette. And ironically, so was me, and they had this white guy sitting there. And we're sitting there, he's there for an interview. I'm there to meet with the staff and, do my walkthrough. And these two guys walk out that work at the company. I'm not gonna say who the company is and everything.
And this is in Lafayette?
This is in Lafayette.
Okay, hold
Which
on.
has a lot of people that look like me.
Look,
now.
hold on, because I got to
That lighter.
pause right there. Because there's a lot I want to say about even just Lafayette.
Yeah.
The mixing
Yeah.
bowl of Louisiana,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So we're going to be right back. We got to take a quick commercial, but we've got to hear this story. So we'll be right back.
I'm ready for this. Are you ready for couch time with Sonja?
Right.
And everything. And they told me within the first 5 minutes, they were like, you are definitely not what I expected. And I told them, yeah. and
They don't even realize what they really said in
right.
that moment.
Because
You're
on the
not
phone,
what we
again, I
expected.
sounded white to them.
Ready for this? Are you ready for couch time with Sonja? Sometimes you need to hear something that will help. Or maybe need a break. Are you ready for couch time with Sonja?
Welcome back. Right before we took that commercial break, you were hearing from Jason, who is, look, with the last name Thibodeau, you got to know where his family's from. He was talking about Lafayette. So I want you to kind of go back to that story you were talking about.
Oh yeah, and like you said, Lafayette, it's definitely a melting pot.
Yes,
I'm
it
definitely
is.
Creole, but it was interesting. So basically, I'm sitting there. They had this white guy there for an interview. I'm sitting there. The two guys come out. I'm assuming that's my guys, and they scanned the room, and they immediately walked to the white guy. They said, "Jason, how you doing?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm not Jason," and everything. They was like, "Oh." Then they looked over, and I'm kind of like, awkward, right? So the secretary's sitting there as well. And the secretary's like, "Yeah, wrong guy," So there's like, "Oh, so you're Jason?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." The first thing that goes through my mind is, I know where I'm at. And Lafayette is not that bad, but I've been in some other places that are horrible. But the first thing through my mind is, here we go.
Right.
And everything. And they told me within the first 5 minutes, they were like, "You are definitely not what I expected." And I told them, yeah. and
They don't even realize what they really said in
right.
that moment.
Because
You're
on the
not what
phone,
we
again, I
expected.
sounded white to them. So, and, but what I can appreciate, I don't want to make it completely negative, but
Right.
what I can appreciate is the conversation that came after that. So at first, like I said, I was like, "Oh crap, here we go. It's about to be one of those visits. I'm about to spend 8 to 10 hours here walking around, and we're going to be bumping heads this whole time."
Right.
But he just said, he's like, "You just made me think it was something different. It's like, you didn't sound like some of the guys from here." And he tried to clean it up.
Right.
But come to find out, we ended up forging a nice relationship, working relationship after that. And I've actually been back to that site several more times at that time period. And everything was real cool, but at first it looked like it was about to be bad.
You think that's bad? Let me tell you about something that happened to me.
What's that?
So I'm at a, gas station. I stop. I'm thirsty, want to get something to drink. I go in and there's a guy. He's talking to a girl. She's the cashier. He's visiting maybe. They're hanging out while she's at work. So I asked the young lady, "Hey, do you guys carry juice? I don't see any." She goes, "Oh, there's some orange juice back there." And I was like, "No, like crane apple or crane grape." And he said, "You sound like a white girl." And I said, "Excuse me?"
Because you wanted cran apple or cran grape.
Right, I'm not really sure. So I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "You sound like a white girl." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have to be a white person to be able to speak the King's English?" And he said, "See what I mean? White girl." Now, the funny part about this is he was white.
Right.
That's the crazy part about that. I'm like, dude, come on, really?
Oh my goodness.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So sad. But in this day and time,
Very.
we need to change our mentality. We need to change our
Absolutely.
mentality and how we address things, really, truly. But I want to ask another question. So, with code switching, there's times we are supposed to code switch, depending upon our environment. We should. I love what she said. Is really it is something that we are naturally
Yes.
supposed to do.
Well, yeah.
What do I mean by that? Is it's called that you're being fake when you change because of the environment you're in. So we're having a good time in the backyard. You're one way, right?
Right.
Okay, you leave and you go into an establishment. You're another way.
Absolutely.
But you are about to walk on stage and receive an award. You're another way. You're in corporate
Completely.
America and the CEO of the company is coming in because he's giving out bonuses. You're a different way.
Exactly.
Yes.
But why do we call that being fake?
I don't think it's being fake at all. Because unfortunately, even in this day and time, not code switching could get you killed.
Come on. Now that right there, put a nugget because it says code switching can get you killed.
Very true.
That
Absolutely.
is amazing. Because if
Yeah.
you don't switch in a certain situation, come on, Felicia.
Absolutely. So it's not about being fake. It's about being authentic to that moment,
That's
to what's
good.
going on in that moment.
That's good.
You know, you have to judge your situation. I have a son, a black male, and
Yes.
it scares me every time he
Yes.
leaves the house. So I'm always, if you get stopped, you speak this way.
Come on.
Yes, sir. No, sir. Absolutely, sir. What do you need? You use your very best language.
That's
you use
exactly
your
right.
very best grammar. Is he being fake? No. He's making sure he comes home to me.
Come on. That's
That's
exactly
what
right.
that's about. So I don't think it kind of irritates me when someone says, "Oh, you're being fake."
Yes.
No, I'm being who I am in that moment.
Yes. That is
So
so
that's
good.
how I feel about it.
I love it.
And I agree with you 110%. I'm gonna play devil's advocate for one
Yes.
second, if I can. When I hear someone say, you're being fake at this particular time. I can't help but think, okay, so when you're code switching and you're going through your routine, are you now going overboard? You see what I'm saying? So I will contribute that to saying, okay, maybe somebody is being fake,
I can see that.
because when you're code switching, I still should be able to see you. I should be
Absolutely.
able to see your personality, see who you are and everything else.
That's good.
Like in acting, you know, if you're in film, I can be as calm as I want to be. Hey, how you doing? You know, everything else. When I'm on stage, I got to be a little bit overboard, you know, or
Right.
whatever the case may be. But if you're doing your typical code switching and you're going from one environment to the other and you're just really just blasting off and you're just way
Yes.
overboard and you're just whole different character,
Yes.
more of a caricature and everything else, I would
That's
see that
good
as
right
being
there.
fake.
I love
Now,
Yes.
I agree with her 110% because I'm that same way, because I grew up as a black male, if you can't tell. And with my mom working in a criminal court and seeing these court cases, she was definitely like, hey, I know I have tonal challenges. I talk, my father, I don't want to say my old man, my father was the same way. He was very direct and he was very stern in what he said. I know I'm the same way.
that. Right.
So I have to watch myself sometimes. And even when I'm dealing with law enforcement, they start to hear that and they automatically think that I'm challenging them. It's like, no, I just asked you a question.
Right. Right.
You know, so
I like
from
that.
the fake standpoint, that's what I would imagine.
I like that because it's like the pendulum. You can go overboard.
Oh,
Right.
Keep
yes.
it in the middle. But when you go too
Absolutely.
far to the right and too far to the left that you don't even look like the same person that I just met,
Yeah. Now you
something's
shucking
wrong.
and jiving.
Come
for the-
on,
Yeah.
I like that shucking and jiving.
Now you shucking and jiving for the man,
So what
right?
would we
But,
leave? What would we leave our audience with? What would we really tell them? Our viewers are watching. What would you say to them if they code switch and they're code switching and they're going too far? Look in the camera and just tell them. What would you say to them, each one of you?
I would say pull it back.
Come on.
Be you. Because you can still be authentically you with just making a slight adjustment for your situation.
That's good, Felicia. How
Absolutely.
About you, Jason?
What I would say is, if you see someone doing that and you consider that person a friend, pull them to the side and let them know what they're doing, because they may not realize they're doing it. It may be a part of what they learned in their household. You know, hey, I got to be a certain way, not realizing they're going overboard.
That's good.
So, you know, maybe pull them to the side and say, hey, look, dude, you know, you're doing a little too much.
I love that. I love what he said. Is, you know what, sometimes that's what we have to do. Friends, family, even coworkers. Nudge them a little bit. Let them know what they're doing. But code switching is important in particular situations. So today, code switching has definitely been an amazing topic. I thank both of you for sitting on the couch with me today and talking about a topic that some people will never want to touch.
Yes.
So thank you. It's been an awesome, awesome time with you. I hope and pray that you will come and join us next time. Have a great one.
I'm ready